Hey, good morning guys. I'm back at the Möhnesee and it's early in the morning and we have a southerly wind today. But the problem is that the water level of the lake is 12 meters below what it usually is. So the lake is so deep in the valley that the wind is not really coming into the lake. And yeah, the forecast predicts up to 36 knots, I think, but it doesn't really look like it. So I think it will be a formula session, which will be fun. I'm meeting with a surf buddy of mine who also just started foiling. So this will be pretty fun, even though it's very gusty. So I thought there wouldn't be a lot of wind today, but the wind just did come through and it's super gusty. And I have the 2019 board, so this is the first try with that. I'm pretty excited, but it looks really difficult also. And the plan is to use this board. It's a 71 wide board. It's the new one in Fanatic's range. They reshaped it a little bit. So I'm really excited if I can see any differences. Actually, it got a little bit wider, but I think the tail got narrower, so it should be pretty good for speed. And I think I will rig a 7.9 with this, and later maybe use the 7.9 for foiling, so I don't have to re-rig. Yeah, here we are. But it was really gusty. But the new board is going good so far, but to be honest I can't really tell much of a difference to the old 71 now. This is a 71.5, I don't have it anymore here. But yeah, can't tell much of a difference yet because conditions were pretty shitty actually. Now the wind went down a little bit and I'm going to try the foil again now. Hey guys, I'm back home now. And I interrupt the video here for a second to give you guys some insight. I said that I was switching to foil because the wind was going down a little bit, but of course as soon as I switched to the foil, the wind went up and it only went up and we had gusts of up to 30 knots. And this was really challenging because before I only surfed in 8 to 15 knots, and I think foiling in these conditions was more difficult and I crashed more often than I did any time in windsurfing before. Even when I just started windsurfing, I didn't crash as much as this day with a foil in winds of up to 30 knots. And the problem wasn't that the wind was super strong alone, but because it was so gusty between 10 and 30 knots, the wind was changing all the time and only really short gusts, and that made it so difficult to keep the foil on an even level. Let's switch over to the action clip first.
Not looking for no, heaven still got the feeling that you're next to me, stuck in my head. When lights go off, you're everything that I could ever want.
So you're probably wondering why I used the GA sail in this video, and the reason for that is quite simple. It's because I already sold all of my 2018 sails and I'm waiting for the 2019 sails, and unfortunately they take a little bit longer than I thought until they arrive, but they should be here next week. So my dad was kind enough to borrow me his GA sail. It's a 7.9 from 2014, I think. And I don't want to compare a 2014 sail from GA to a 2018 sail from Nils or now Duotone, because that's just not fair. But what I really noticed is how light and easy handling my Nils sails or now Duotone sails actually are. But as you just saw in the action clip, we were both a little bit out of control once we switched to the foil, and that didn't have anything to do with the sail. I took a 7.9 and my friend took a 6.6 meter camberless sail, I think. So I was also on the large side sail-wise. But it was just so gusty that it was so difficult to control the foil. And this was only my third or fourth session on the foil, I don't really know. And it was so difficult to control the foil to keep a certain height. And it just flew out of the water a lot of times, and then I crashed back down. And when I crashed back down, sometimes I flipped over and just lots of crashes. But after 1 or 2 hours of this stuff, it actually got a little bit better. And I learned how to control the gusts to not just lift straight off the water. And one thing that really helped me to control it was when the big gusts hit, you just go more and more upwind. The more I went upwind, the easier I got to control the big gusts. What I also noticed compared to formula windsurfing is that you can go a lot further downwind. Actually, it felt like I was going straight downwind. You can see in some clips that I'm just crossing 90 degrees to the waves downwind, so it really looks like I'm just going downwind. And on the foil, it feels really funny because when you go so far downwind, you don't have any pressure on the sail. And I also took the GPS again with me, and this time I was 3 knots faster than the last session. I went up from 18 knots to 21 knots, which I measured with this GPS. So an improvement of 3 knots. But my all-time top speed on the formula gear is actually 29 knots. And I think it will be really hard to reach these kind of speeds with a foil. I mean, I have a freeride foil now, so maybe if I get a carbon foil it's easier to get more speed, but I think the top end speed on the formula might be higher, but your average speed will be a lot faster on the foil because all the chop and everything that you have on when you sail, you just don't feel with the foil, and it's just a whole lot easier to keep a certain speed because the little waves and the chop won't slow you down as much, and that I think is the big advantage of the foil now. And of course we're also in the early days of windsurf foiling, so I think if we go down the road 5 or 10 years, there will be a whole lot of improvements, not only in the foils but also in the sails and boards, and I think there's a whole lot more to come, and it will be interesting to see where this journey will take us. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you like this, please leave a like and or maybe subscribe if you like my content, and see you in the next one.